Welcome back. Under a minute to go here as we're getting ready to get the second half underway. Again, a big thank you to the Aces Pride and Wayne Trace Raiders. Raiders, very entertaining halftime show. And we are getting ready to get back into action here on the gridiron. Again, if you are just joining us at halftime, it's the Aces leading the Raiders by 16, 28-12. But that is kind of deceptive. The first quarter was all Hicksville, and the Aces pretty much owned that game. They were up 14-0, then 21-0. But the Raiders came back in the second quarter and were able to get into the end zone a couple of times. They tried a couple of times to do a two-point conversion. Neither was successful, and hence the 28-12 score. The Aces' last score of the first half coming on a fumble that the Raiders lost to the Hicksville Aces down at the 6-yard line that they were able to punch in. So that kind of accounts for the scoring. And again, we'll see what kind of adjustments these teams have made at halftime. The Aces will be getting the ball to start the second half. They won the toss and deferred at the start of the game, so they kicked off to the Raiders. And it'll be Wayne Trace kicking the ball to the Raiders, or to the Aces rather, to get the third quarter underway. 12 minutes on the clock. Again, a thank you to our football broadcast underwriters, Jim Smith Family of Automotive Dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. Once again, a thank you to the Wayne Trace Athletic Department for giving us the space here. We're outdoors tonight, but it's a nice night. A little bit breezy, a little bit cool, but our camera person's got their layers on so they don't look too uncomfortable. And we're getting ready to get the second half of action underway here from Raider Field on this Friday night, week number 9 of the high school campaign. Another short kick. And again, the Aces up man getting the ball under control and getting it under him and maintaining possession. And good field position for the Aces as they'll start this drive first and 10 from their own 44-yard line. So, still a little bit on the breezy side. Greer with the fake, and he'll hang on to the ball himself, and not a good choice that time as the Raiders are waiting for him, and they're going to drop him for about a 2-yard loss.
Taken down by number 71, Braxton Asher for the Raiders.
Now they're going to give him forward progress to about the 43, so 1-yard loss to make it 2nd and 11. Jake Greer with the snap, rolling out, looking down the field, stops, puts the ball in the air, and it's going to be short. And incomplete. And bring up 3rd and 11.
Intended by number 8, Braden Langham for the
Langham, the intended receiver, but the ball was thrown a little bit short. Brady could not get back to the ball in time. So 3rd down now for the Aces. And again, Greer putting the ball in the air. And Langham, so a little bit high for him. He jumps up, can't make the grab, and the Aces are going to punt it away. So it's a 3 and out for Hicksville to start the second half. Raiders fans are liking that. They want to get back in this game. And as we mentioned early on, there's an awful lot riding on this contest tonight for both these teams. Greer barely gets it away, not a good punt, and it's going to go out of bounds and no return. And it should be good field position for the Raiders.
But it's not returned by the Raiders. They'll take over 1st and 10.
And we'll see where they mark it officially. Looks to be about the 35-yard line. So that's where Wayne Trace will take over. So Aces 3 and out, and they're back on defense here. And Wayne Trace had a little bit momentum on their side going into the locker room as they managed to put it in the end zone a couple of times. Spies running around in the backfield, all kinds of time. Finally throws away a dangerous pass intended for the big man, Josh Kuhn. He missed the ball, incomplete. So that'll make it 2nd and 10. Now Spies all alone in the backfield. Spies running for his life. Spies still on his feet. Hurls it on a prayer at the end, and the receiver falls down, and it's incomplete. So Spies was in a world of trouble, and he was scrambling all over in the backfield again. And finally just launched it on a prayer and had a man that had a chance of catching it, but he got tangled up in his own feet and fell down. So incomplete. And that'll bring up 3rd and 10 for the Raiders. Spies takes the snap. Drops back again, flings it sidearmed, and there's nobody there. I don't know whether he meant to throw it that way or if it just got away from him, but the ball had that sort of a sideways spin on it, and it falls to the ground. Again, there were no receivers within 5 yards in any direction, and that'll bring up 4th down, and it'll be 3 and out for the Raiders as well. So nothing happening for either team offensively here early on in the 3rd quarter. As both teams are going to trade 3 and outs here. Maybe not. One of the Aces players jumps.
Flags on the play. We're offsides against Hicksville.
That'll still make it 4th down. But it'll give him an extra 5 yards. And now they're going to go for it. So with 4th and 5 on the 40-yard line, they decide it's 4 down territory, and they're going to go for it. And they're looking a little bit confused on the Raiders. And a high snap, and they're going to do another short punt and try to kick it way, way down the field. They're running like gangbusters, and it'll roll dead at the 5-yard line.
Down to the 5-yard line.
So I think the intent of that was to just kind of lull the Aces into a little bit of a sleep and a flag on the play now, because I think they were just hoping to be able to maybe kick it really, really deep and pin him back. But a flag on the play may change things again. If it's against Hicksville, it could be a fresh set of downs for the Raiders. So we'll wait and see just what's what here. And the officials talking things over. The flag is resting at about the 35-yard line. still no indication as to what's going on here. Neither team is moving, so we don't know whether I haven't even seen anyone, because I'm not even sure whether it's against the Raiders or if it's against the Aces. Here comes the
penalty has been waved off.
And they've declined the penalty. After all of that, penalty declined or waved off. And the Aces will take over then. It'll be 1st and 10 on their own 5-yard line. 10:36 to go here in quarter number 3. Again, the Aces are up 28-12. And they'll give everybody a little bit to take the long stroll down to the far end of the field here. So the Aces with the 1st and 10 at their own 5. And so the first order of the day is going to be for Jake Greer and company to try to buy themselves a little breathing room here. So Greer standing back at about his 1-yard line. Quick hitter out to Tunis. Tunis out across the 10, and Tunis will rumble down to about the 12, 13-yard line and get them that breathing room that they need. Pickup of about 8, so make it 2nd and 2 for the Aces. So Greer hanging on to it himself. Jake gets him a 1st down and a little bit more. Out to about the 18-yard line.
Hicksville 1st down. Taken down on the play by Nate Stillwell.
So they'll actually say he was down at the 22, or excuse me, at the 17. So, but still a 1st down. And Greer pump fake. And now he's launching it, and he overthrows Langham.
Greer's pass falls incomplete, out of bounds, and playing for number 8, Brayton Langham.
So that'll make it 2nd down and 10.
Brings up 2nd down and 10 from the 17.
And a flag on the field.
There's a flag on the play. He's holding.
And it's going to be a hold.
Against the Aces.
And it'll be against Hicksville, so they'll back him up. So from the 17-yard line, it'll be half the distance to the goal.
Brings up 2nd and 19 from the 8-yard line.
So they'll take him back to the 8-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and about 19. Greer launches it out. Nice catch and a run by Tunis. Tunis around the corner. Tunis is broken free. He's down the sideline. He's got a full head of steam. Nobody's catching him. Tunis taking it to the house. No flags on the play, and Tunis scampers 81 yards into the end zone. Put the Aces up 34-12. .22 lead right now, and Victor Code will come out, see if he can make it 23.
Number 22, Victor Code on to try the PAT for the Aces.
So the Aces needed that after getting bottled up deep in their own end of the field, and penalty, and that one's partially blocked. And that one is no good, obviously. So the score remains 34-12. Aces up by 22. So another unanswered touchdown will put the Aces up by 28. An extra point by Coate would make it 29 points. So still isn't the 30-point differential for the continuous clock. But again, we don't want to get ahead of ourselves because the Raiders are no slouches, and they're about to get the ball back with 9:24 left to go in the third quarter. Down by 22.
Back deep for the Raiders, number 12, Evan Moore. Number 3, Corbin Slade.
As the wind continues to pick up, and I know you can hear it kind of rumbling across my microphone every now and then. And we're outside, so I'm doing the best I can to avoid too much of the background noise from the wind, but you'll just have to bear with me. Coate tees it up. Again, this side of the field, the Aces kicking pretty much into the wind. And Coate booms it again. And solid return out to about the 33-yard line.
Return for the Raiders. Brings it back to approximately the 34-yard line.
I think that was Moore with the return. And he'll get it out to, looks to be the 34-yard line is where they'll place it down. First and 10, Wayne Trace. So the Raiders, Spies, again, will be all alone in the backfield. They'll put a man in motion. That's Showalter. Quick throw and incomplete. Showalter was the intended receiver, but a throw was low, and he bent over, tried to catch it about his shoe tops and not able to hang on to it. So that makes it 2nd and 10. Again, Showalter in motion. Spies takes the snap, drops back. Spies looking downfield, doesn't see anybody. And then he's going to hurl it again. And incomplete. Again, the intended receiver, Josh Kuhn.
Brings up 3rd down.
And Logan Sanderson, the Aces, was cutting across, and he had a shot at perhaps picking up the interception. But the incompletion will put the ball back on the 34-yard line and bring up 3rd down. So the Raiders with a 3rd and 10 now. They'll get everybody repositioned to suit Spies. Spies again will put a man in motion, number 9. Spies gets the snap. Spies is in trouble, and Spies is going to get downed, and they'll say that the ball was down. It popped loose at the end of the play, but the indication right away from the referee is that it was already, the play was dead. He was down by contact. That's going to take them all the way back to the 25-yard line, where it'll be 4th down. And the Raiders are going to need to punt it away. Snap, kick, and it's going to take a Raiders bounce, and it'll be down at the 35-yard line.
No return on the punt.
Comiso was flirting with the idea, or looked like he was flirting with the idea of maybe picking it up and making a run for it, but he wisely did not. Raiders down the ball, and the Aces will get it 1st and 10 on their own 35-yard line with 8:21 to go here in the third quarter. And Hicksville with a 22-point lead. Aces back out on the field. Comiso with the carry. Comiso cuts back into the middle of the field. Comiso has got nothing but green ahead of him. He turns on the jets, and he goes into the end zone. Touchdown, Aces. Wow. And we're not seeing any flags on the field. So the Aces celebrate in the end zone once again as Mason Comiso breaks it. And he goes 65 yards for the TD. Now 40-12. And if the Aces wanted to go for two here, and if they were to make it, then they'd really put the Raiders behind the 8 ball, because that'll be a 30-point margin, and that brings out the continuous clock, and that's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to see if they can get it in on a 2-point conversion. And Aaron scampers in, and it's good. Aces up by 12, and now the clock becomes the Hicksville's 12th man, as it will not stop now unless the Raiders call timeout, somebody scores, change of possession. That's about it. There's not many ways to get the clock to stop here. And it can start moving really fast at this point. 8:07 to go, and the Raiders, like I said, find themselves a bit behind the 8 ball now, as they're going to need to get the ball, get control, and they're going to need to score some points. So the Aces come out, and again, Coates going to tee it up. But you got Travian Tunis right beside him in the line. And Tunis has been known to kick it every now and then as well. But right now they've been letting Coate put his leg into it, kicking into the wind, and he's been doing a pretty good job shooting that ball down the field. And the Aces are going to let the clock go down just about as far as it can go. They get the indication, and then Coate, it's a long liner, a bounce. It's scooped up back at the 10-yard line, out to the 30, and that's where he'll be taken down. 7:32 and counting. Spiess under center for the Raiders. Pitches back, and he's going to get taken down right at about the 30-yard line for no gain.
Brings up second down.
They're going to give him a yard on momentum. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Wayne Trace. They'll give him forward progress out to the 31. Spiess backs out into the shotgun again. One split back beside him. He'll send 4 men down the field. Spiess looking down the field. He hurls it, and he overthrows his intended receiver. And there's a flag on the play.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
And it'll be the Aces getting tagged for roughing the passer. So that'll tack 15 on and give the Raiders a fresh set of downs. So again, the Aces not helping their own cause with the personal fouls here.
They have a 1st and 10. They're on 46.
So that'll move it out to the 46-yard line of the Raiders, where Wayne Trace will have the ball, 1st and 10. Spiess. Again, 2 out wide on either side. He'll put a man in motion. High snap, but he gets it under control, throws it right away, caught, and that should be good enough for a 1st down. Grab made by Evan Moore, and Moore should move the sticks, or it'll be really close. Now they're going to say 2nd and less than a yard. And again, a little bit of confusion on the Raiders sideline. And the quarterback saying he doesn't know what to do. And they're just going to go for it. So they snap at, we'll see what happens, because this is just on a prayer. Nothing doing. The Aces sniff it out. They hand it off, and he does not make the first down. And again, he'll lose about a half a yard, so that's going to make it 3rd and about 2. As they'll be taken down at about the Aces' 46-yard line. So now the Raiders with a 4th and 2. And Spiess comes over and checks with Coach Spiess to make sure he knows what he's doing on this play. And here we go. Quick handoff, and he's going to get dropped, and it's going to bring up 4th down. He's going to get taken down back at the 49-yard line, and it's going to bring up 4th down for the Raiders. Brickle got him. So a couple of good defensive plays, solid defense from the Aces to put the brakes on this Raiders offensive drive. Now they're dealing with a 4th and about 5, or 4th and 4. Now we'll say 4th and 5. Man in motion. Spiess takes the snap, looks to get it away quickly. That'll be good enough for the first down. Still on his feet, but finally chased down inside the 40-yard line down at about the 38. But a nice catch and run from Hunter Showalter as the senior moves the chains for the Raiders. 3:16 and the clock continues to roll here in the 3rd quarter. Fresh set of downs for Wayne Trace. They are down by 30. They need to score some points to get the clock back to regular operation. Spiess rolling out, and he's going to be dropped way back at about the 47-yard line. We'll see where they say they got him. And it looks like to be the Aces' 46-yard line. That'll bring up 2nd and 18 for the Raiders. They come up to the line. Spiess drops back. Again, he's got 2 out wide on either side of the line of scrimmage. Spiess launching it. It's a high floater and no chance of being caught by either the defender or the intended receiver. No flags. And that'll bring out 3rd down. So 3rd and 18 now for the Raiders. As Spiess threw that one and the wind kind of carried it a little bit, it started to float, and you could tell that it was going to be a good 7 yards beyond the reach of either of the players running down the field. 1:45 seconds to go. Clock still rolling here in the 3rd. 3rd and long for the Raiders. High snap for Spiess. Spiess gets the ball away and incomplete. Intended receiver was Kuhn, Jake Kuhn, the 6'5 senior. Off his hands. He couldn't get it in, so now the Raiders are faced with a 4th and very long, 4th and 18. The ball on the Aces side of the field, and then you're down by 30. There's not a lot of thought that has to go into it. They're going for it on 4th down. They need 18 to move the chains. Spiess launching it. He's got a man open, and it is intercepted by Peyton Tunis. Tunis jumps up at the last minute and snatches the ball literally inches away from the intended receiver. Comes down, is touched right away, so there's no return on the interception, but the Aces at this point do not care. The ball is on the 11-yard line of the Aces. They'll have it there 1st and 10. And Hicksville's going to have the opportunity now. There's only 53 seconds left in this 3rd quarter. So they're going to be able to really just milk the play clock. They might have to snap the ball once or twice, but then they're going to be in the position to be able to just grind it out and burn up a lot of clock in the fourth quarter and really put the screws to the Raiders. Greer launches it over. It's caught by Comiso. Comiso catches it and falls down after only picking up maybe a yard or two. So they're going to give him, looks like, we'll see what the official thing is. It looks like he might have got a yard. They're going to give him a couple. They'll put the ball down at the 13-yard line. And the Aces are going to just sort of huddle up, and there's less time on the clock than on the play clock, and that'll be the end of the third quarter. Boom, just like that, it's done. So after going up by 30 and getting the continuous clock working on their side, the Aces run out the third quarter, and after 3, it's Hicksville leading Wayne Trace 42-12 here at Raiders Field. We're going to switch ends, and when we get back into action, Wayne Trace is really going to be between. They've got a tough road ahead of them. There's no doubt about it. They're in a world of hurt. The Aces have the ball. They've got a lot of field that they can work with. They can grind it out and burn up a lot of that clock. And at this point, it would be, to be frank, a miracle for the Raiders to be able to get back into this game and seriously threaten. We'll see what happens, though, and we'll take some time right now to say a big thank you once again to our football broadcast underwriters, Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick and Jim Schmidt Ford in Hicksville. As we always say, if you are in the market for a vehicle, whether you want one that's brand spanking new or pre-owned, be it a car, truck, van, or SUV, you owe it to yourself. Just stop by and check out the great selections they have on the lots at the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio, including the Jim Schmidt truck lot. Or you can check out their entire inventory online at jimschmidtauto.com. If you don't see what you're looking for, let the folks at Jim Schmidt know what it is you're interested in. They always do their very best to find you exactly the vehicle that you are interested in. And don't forget, great service departments at both dealerships as well. So proud to have them as our football broadcast underwriters again for the 2017 season. The Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio. Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick, Jim Schmidt Ford, and online at jimschmidtauto.com. 2nd and 7 on the 13 for the Aces. And when they blow that whistle, the clock won't stop. Man in motion. Greer hands it off to Comiso. Comiso reverses his field. Comiso cuts back upfield. Comiso still on his feet. And he's going to take it out across the 30-yard line. He gets popped near the end. He'll feel that one.
Hit on the play by number 25, Jake Kuhn.
And Kuhn really decked him at the end of that play. And he is on the turf. And they're having an official timeout because of the injury. I'm going to assume that was Comiso. He had a great run. And, man, did he get hit hard at the end of it. The ball is at the 34-yard line. And they are looking over Mason Comiso right now. 11:41, and the clock does stop, obviously, for the injury timeout. The Raiders are all huddled up, taking a knee as well. And we'll wait to see how things go here. As they are attending to Comiso. And Doc Haggerty has him sitting up. And there he goes. That's good to see. Raiders fans, too, giving him a round of applause. Well-deserved. You hate to see that. And hopefully he just got his bell rung and got the wind knocked out of him, and it's nothing worse than that. But we'll see what's the case. He'll be on the sideline for a bit. A wallop like that probably is going to engage the concussion protocol, I would assume. And yeah, it looks like he's sitting down and he's watching the fingers and everything. So they're going to make sure that Mason Comiso is okay. And again, hopefully he is. And they'll get the teams back out onto the field and get this football game underway. Again, 11:41 left in regulation, and here goes the continuous clock. And Greer looks to take the snap. Greer, quick hitter, caught. That's Langham. That makes the grab.
On the reception from Greer, tackle down by.
And Braden Langham makes the grab and gets it out across the 40-yard line for the Aces. And again, here, Hicksville, normally we're used to seeing the Aces do that hurry up and no huddle and try to keep the other team off the field or off balance a little bit. But in this situation, because this is about the third time this season now that the Aces have had the continuous clock on their side, then the dynamic changes and the Aces take their time between plays and let that clock work to their advantage.
The Hicksville 44-yard line.
So the ball at the Aces' 44-yard line, as again they take their time. It's letting the clock work for them. Hand off to Tunis. Tunis turns the corner, gets across the 50, onto the Raiders' side of the field. He'll be taken down at about the 48-yard line, it looks like, of the Raiders. He pops up. A little verbal exchange as he's walking back towards the huddle with one of the Raiders players. And they're going to be backed up from a false start. Okay. So instead of second down and about 8, or second down and about 6, rather, it's going to be 1st and 15. As the Aces get flagged for the false start. 10-11 to go in the contest. And that should be another false start, so it'll be 1st and 20.
Another penalty on the play. Illegal motion against the Aces.
So they'll back him up 5 more, and it'll be 1st and 20, and they'll go back to the 34-yard line. So Greer, he has that good hard count, and every now and then he can fool his own guys too. .9:30 left in the game. Greer, quick throw out, and I guess caught, and Tunis makes the grab, but he gets taken down pretty much right away. Might have got a yard. So 2nd and long once again for the Aces. And camera, Amy tells me on camera that Doc Haggerty's finished his quick look at Mason Comiso. That's a catch by Parker Thiel, and Thiel is going to get hit at about the 31-yard line.
Tackle down by number 34, Adam Stoller.
As we're situated right next to the Raiders coaches box, and not that I'm saying it's an indication of anything, but some of the coaches are starting to leave the box now and head down to the field with 8:14 to go, and again the Raiders down by 30. 3rd and 22 for Hicksville. Ball at the 32-yard line. Greer, 4 wide receivers out. Greer drops back. Greer launches it, and he overthrows his man, and it'll bring up 4th down. Logan Sanderson, the intended receiver, but the ball was about 5-6 yards ahead of him. That's going to bring up 4th down, and the Aces look to punt the ball away here with the wind behind them. If Greer can get his leg into it, he should be able to get some pretty good hang time. Snap. Punts away. And oh yeah, it's going to come down. And fair catch called, and it should be right at about the 20-yard line.
There's a flag on the play.
And a flag on the play. And it's going to be a legal formation against the Aces. And they're going to make him kick it again. So the Aces are content because the clock keeps rolling. So all the Raiders have done is give the Aces another opportunity to kick it with the wind behind them and take probably about 45 more seconds off of the clock by the time all is said and done. And I know they'll hope for some kind of a return. And again, Greer boots it, and it's dropped, and it's loose on the floor, and a flag thrown. Loose on the ground. They pick it up, and it was, again, Jake Kuhn getting the ball, and Kuhn gets out across the 30-yard line. Flag on the play, though, and we'll see whether that's going to be a clip and a legal block. We'll leave that for the and it's going to be a block in the back, and that's going to go, I think, against the Raiders. Indeed. So Wayne Trace gets flagged for an illegal block in the back on the return, and that'll move the ball all the way back to the Wayne Trace 21-yard line. They will stop the clock for the change of possession at 6 minutes and 30 seconds left in regulation, and the Raiders are going to need to go 79 yards. Wayne Trace took a timeout. So that'll give them a little extra time. The clock still had stopped with the change of possession, but Wayne Trace calls a timeout to talk things over. So they're facing two big obstacles. First, they need to score some points to make that margin under 30, so the clock goes back to normal operation. Then they have to worry about how to figure. They need to figure out how do you score 31 points to win this game. So the Raiders, 1st and 10 from their own 21-yard line. Clock starts. Spiess running around in the backfield. Quick pass, short pass, and dropped by number 21, Showalter. So that'll be incomplete. 2nd and 10. As more of the coaches continue their exodus from the Wayne Trace coaching box here. Up in the press box area. Spiess drops back. Spiess throws. Catch made. And he'll power forward to about the 28-yard line. I think it was Stoller that made the catch, number 34. Adam Stoller, 6-foot senior receiver. He'll get out to the 28-yard line, 3rd and 3. And the Aces will be more than willing to give Wayne Trace the little short gains and short pickups. Handoff, still on his feet, 1st down yardage. He breaks loose on the far sideline, and they trip him up. Showalter motors downfield and gets all the way to about the 40-yard line. I'll say the 39, 1st and 10, Wayne Trace, as we go under 5 minutes in the game. Spiess takes the snap. Spiess drops back. Spiess looking to throw the ball, and it's off the shoulder pads of the Aces defender and incomplete. That was number 36, Austin Gillespie. He was just in the right place at the right time as the ball kind of caromed off of his shoulder pad. That'll make it 2nd and 10 from the 39 for the Raiders. Spiess gets the pass, hurls it over. This time it's caught by number 10. Number 10 going for the end zone, and he's going to make it. Eli Sin with the catch and run gets into the end zone to make it 42-18 with 4:03, and that'll get the clock back to regular operation. But still, the Aces aren't going to be too upset because they managed to burn a good 8 minutes, 8-9 minutes, more than that even in the third quarter with the continuous clock. And they'll get the ball back, and again, another score. We'll put them right back into the continuous clock. Again, the Raiders going to go for 2. Rolling out, throws the ball, and it's good. So the 2-point conversion is successful this time, and that makes it 42-20 and cuts the Aces lead down to 22. 4:03 remaining in regulation. Aces will get the ball back. And they'll have to score 8 to get the clock running continuously. But again, it served its purpose in a way because, again, it's nearly 8 minutes of the fourth quarter gone, as well as about a minute and a half or so of the end of the third quarter. So the Aces got themselves a lot of time with the continuous clock, and the Raiders still are in a pretty big hole. And now the Aces coaches are going to head down. Aces, again, their coaching staff going down because it looks like it's going to be a good ride back to Hicksville for the Aces here tonight. And we're going to get ready for the onside kick. I don't think there's a person here in Raiders Stadium that is not anticipating the onside kick. Moore squibs it low, and it's loose, and the Raiders going to recover.
The onside kick is recovered by the Raiders.
And the Raiders get the job done. The Hicksville up man, it bounced off him instead of throwing on him. It goes loose, and the Raiders dive on it. So the Raiders get the ball back, and it'll be 1st and 10 on the Aces' 46-yard line. So we've got 3 minutes and 59 seconds left in regulation. This game may not be over yet. A lot can happen in 4 minutes. And the Raiders successfully pull off the onside kick, get the ball back. Snap. Handoff. And brought down behind the line of scrimmage. Spiess dropping back, hangs onto the ball himself. It's loose, and I think the Aces got it back. Spiess, ball came loose as he was heading down. That's a fumble. There's no doubt about it, and Aces recover. So Trevor Spiess coughs it up, and the Aces get the ball back on the Raiders' about 45-yard line, or 49-yard line, excuse me. So turnabout's fair play, and the Aces recover their second fumble of the night. 3:28, and here comes Jake Greer. No, I take it back. It looks like Greer might be, and I think it's going to be Landon Turnbull. Going to get some more reps. Turnbull pitches it back on his feet. Spin move. Number 24 with the ball. That's Cole Workman.
Number 24, Cole Workman.
And Workman takes it down inside the 40-yard line to about the 38, and that'll be good enough for an Aces first down. So Coach Smith comfortable enough to bring in his second-string quarterback and let the youngster get some more varsity playing experience. Greer, of course, a senior, so need to start working on the next generation here. And this is going to be a quarterback keeper on his feet, powering forward down to near the 25-yard line. So Turnbull puts his head down and squares his shoulder pads, and he bombs down to about the 26-yard line. Keeps it on the ground, keeps it. I guess maybe he stepped out of bounds because they stopped the clock at 2:54. And now they've got it going again. Okay, I wonder why it stopped. Must have just been long enough to move the chains. Turnbull dropping back, evades one defender, evades another defender, and scrambles around to the 30-yard line, and a flag comes in at the end of the play. So that'll stop the clock at 2:35. Turnbull going to lose about 3. And the Aces an illegal block in the back. And that'll back them up. It's not so upsetting when it's the younger players coming on, you know, that they make the mistakes, but still, it'll back them up to the 41-yard line to make it 1st and 25. So Turnbull comes in. He's going to get a real taste of varsity football here. He spins around. Turnbull still with the ball. Looks to turn the corner. He does. Turnbull staying on his feet, and he's still going. And he gets down to about the 30-yard line before they bring him down. And if he does his job, he stays in bounds. And we'll go underneath 2 minutes left in regulation here.
Brings up 2nd down and 15 from the Wayne Trace 31-yard line.
So Turnbull, with the quarterback keeper, gets 10 and makes it 2nd and 15. Yes, again, we're under 2 minutes now here in regulation. Quick handoff, ball fumbled. It's scooped back up. Number 34 turns the corner. He goes straight up the field and inside the 25-yard line. Heads up, Travian Tunis. He dropped the handoff, but he scooped it off, and he did what you need to do. He grabbed it, and he just headed for the end zone, and he got as far as he could until they took him down. Got to the 24-yard line to make it 3rd and 8. So after a big setback, the Aces have battled back and got back most of the lost yardage. And with, well, let's see, it's 1 minute now left in, so we're under a minute. And Turnbull's job here then is to just keep it going and bring home the W. Turnbull. And they're going for the ball here. And we'll wait for the indication. And Wayne Trace recovers the fumble. So Turnbull drops the ball on the exchange, and it's loose on the ground, and the Raiders recover with 45 seconds left in regulation. They're down 22, so it's really kind of academic, but they're playing for pride here. Take the snap, drop back, ball in the air, and nearly intercepted. Gillespie was right there. He had it in his hands.
Brings up 2nd down and 10 from their own 30-yard line.
Not able to drag it in. .7 seconds. Spies takes the snap. And he manages to evade a couple people, but the 4th guy got him.
Hey, Gerber on the carry.
And I have to stand corrected. That was Gerber, number 13. So Gerber is coming in, and he'll get some playing time too. They're back up. So quarterback switch after the fumble. And this is probably going to be the last play of the game as we are under 10 seconds. They may not even get it away here. 4, 3, 2, and they'll get one last snap of the ball. Breaks through, and he fumbles it, and that's the football game. And they are going crazy on the far side of the field because the Aces are going to be GMC champions. They remain undefeated in the league, 6-0, heading into the final game next week of the regular season. And they'll be back at home hosting the Ayersville Pilots. We'll have to check and see what the overall standings are, but I'm pretty sure that even if they were to take a loss, the worst that they could do at 6-1 would be co-champions. And if they were able to, they hold on and finish out undefeated, no doubt. Their destiny is in their own hands, as Coach Smith would like to say, and that's the way they like it. As they put away the Wayne Trace Raiders tonight. And with the Raiders' 6-2 record, they should do well with the computer points, and we'll find out next Monday if they might have gotten over the hump and into the top 4 in Region 22 and stand a shot at hosting a Week 11 playoff game. So I'll get out of the way as more people now are exodusing out of the press box. The teams will congratulate each other, and the celebration can begin in Hicksville, and it's going to be a big week as we get ready for week number 10, and we head back home to host the Pilots next Friday. I want to say a big thank you once again to Jib Linder and the AD here at Wayne Trace and the Wayne Trace Athletic Department giving us the space and helping us to get set up. We appreciate that very much. Big thanks also to our football broadcast underwriters, the Jim Schmidt family of automotive dealerships in Hicksville, Ohio, Jim Schmidt Chevrolet Buick and Jim Schmidt Ford, and online at jimschmidtauto.com. And the celebration begins. The Aces remain undefeated in the Green Meadows Conference, and things are looking good for postseason play. Now it's just a question as to whether or not they'll be outright GMC champs and whether or not they'll get to host a game in week number 11. And the answers to those questions probably are going to be answered next Friday night at Aces Field. Once again, final score tonight, well, it's the Aces beating the Wayne Trace Raiders. They took the score off the scoreboard, and I'm being pushed out of the way again. So I'm just going to wrap it up. The Aces win. For Amy Murphy on the camera, I'm Bill Murphy for Hicksville Community Television, wishing you good night and good sports.